welcome back to Pure Lottie. So today I want to do a video on how I used to do my makeup. So throughout high school and for a fair few years after that. For as long as I can remember, I did the same routine for my makeup. I used the same products. I was an avid Napoleon fan. And I still have a few products left in my stash that I haven't finished yet because I have only changed my makeup in the last year or so. So I just want to show you how I used to do my makeup so you can see how far I have come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below, and don't forget to subscribe and change the notifications to all so you don't miss any of my future videos. Alright, let's jump in. Okay, so as I said at the start, I was an avid Napoleon fan. I literally used their products for my face and that's it. Never anything else. So I don't have all the products in my stash anymore. I have slowly used some of them and the others, they have expired. The last time I did do a Napoleon order was about 10 months ago, so these are about to expire, so I will have to throw these out shortly. So yeah, let's jump in. So I always started with my Napoleon pre-foundation primer. So I'll just grab a little bit of that. So I did always, I forgot to shake it up. When you don't shake it up, it separates a little bit. Because I do have sensitive skin, I would try and use drugstore ones. This is quite a few years ago when I was trying them out, and they wouldn't work on my skin. They would break me out. I would start turning red. I would have rashes. Even back in high school when I did dance, and in primary school when I did modelling, I wasn't able to use the stage makeup because it did break me out. So we had to look for an alternative, and that's how we came across Napoleon, and it didn't break out my skin. And then I was just so scared to use other products till about a year ago. And yeah, now that I am venturing out and trying other products, I've learned, yeah, Napoleon's not the only brand out there. So I always started with the primer. That's one thing they sold me from the get-go was primer. You always need a primer, so I've always been a primer person. Then, now please don't laugh at this. Okay, well maybe you can laugh, but please don't judge me badly. As I said, I went to Napoleon stores and they taught me how to do this. So this is quite embarrassing to look back at now. I actually used 3 foundations for coverage on my face. So I started off with this stick foundation. And I literally, look how horrid this color is as well. Look how yellow it is. So this is look 2. I would always just use like a cheapy brush or a Napoleon brush. I did have some Napoleon brushes, and then when we got Evie, when she was the first little puppy, she was very naughty. I mean, she's still naughty now. But she chewed up a lot of my makeup brushes, so they all went in the bin. So I'm just gonna grab this Real Techniques brush, and I would just try and blend it in. And yes, I really use brushes this big. I don't know why. This is a powder brush. This is a liquid foundation. So I'd put it everywhere. I'd put it over my eyebrows. I would put it on my eyes. I didn't know what eye primer was back then. I also didn't know what brow products were until about a year ago. So we won't be doing brows today. Although I can say that's a positive back then, not doing brows. Could you imagine me doing my brows following this horrible routine? I would have probably had shaped brows and drawn on or something. Made myself look like a clown. Wow. I honestly don't know how I did this because this is horrible. I'm trying to blend this in with this brush. And it's taking forever. Okay. And I was always taught to, you know, blend under the neck as well so you don't end up with that harsh line there. Now it's blended out, the colour's not as bad, thankfully. Okay, so after I used this, I would then go in with the China Doll liquid foundation as well. Now I would jump down to a smaller brush when I use this one, thank God for that. What can I use? Let's use this Eco Tools full blush brush. And I would normally just put it, okay, let's do it how I would do it. So I would normally put it on my face. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna spread that out because I just put heaps on the side. I would then just blend it in. Oh my God, look how yellow this is. How did I ever look like a human wearing this? I'm just going to speed this part up because this is going to take forever. Okay, so I think this might have oxidized a little bit because I never remember it being this yellow, although I just could have been blind. All right, next I would go in with some concealer. Now I used to use, they had like these little pots as the concealer, but I don't have my concealer anymore. I did use it, so I'm going to use my MAC one. So this I used to have as a backup concealer. So this is the Pro Longwear concealer, and I did actually use this quite a bit over the last year or two before changing all my makeup. So this is something that, yeah, I did have in my stash back then. So this is in the colour NC15, and then I would always put this underneath my eyes, and now you're going to be horrified even more. I'd put heaps underneath my eyes like this, but then I would get a sponge and I would blend this all over my whole face because I wanted to get rid of my freckles and my small amount of breakouts. And maybe this is why I wasn't so yellow, because of the concealer. This is making it not so bad. So I would do that, and then I would then get a sponge and I would then blend this out. Now I used to use a brush back in high school, or a really cheap makeup sponge, but in the last 5 years or so then I upgraded to like the Real Techniques or Beauty Blender sponges, and they would last way longer than the cheapy ones that I would have. So I would literally blend this everywhere. This is already feeling super uncomfortable. There is so much product on my face already. For keeping count, so far I've got primer on. Then I have my stick foundation on. Then I did the liquid foundation. And then I would put concealer over my whole face. Do you guys think that I'm doing another step after this? You said yes, and you're correct. I would then put another layer on top of powder foundation. So then I would jump into my trusty powder foundation. So this one is in the colour Natural Look N2, and this out. I would always use these sponges that it came with. So I would just grab the product and I would wipe it over everywhere. Let me tell you, some of the photos that I've seen, I was a powdery mess or a cakey mess. I would always make sure I put heaps of powder on my nose because it would always break apart there first. There is my cakey face. Not sure if you can see, but all my little hairs and everything, it like makes me look like as though I've got a moustache. It is not colour matched at all. So fun times. Now I haven't done anything different. So if you say I actually have foundation on my ears, that is always what would happen. But I never fixed it. I never stopped doing it. I would never clean it off. I would go out looking like this. So next step, I would always use some blush. Now I don't have the blush that I would use, but I do have a Sephora one, which my mother-in-law brought me a few years ago, and it's still pretty decent. So I did use this for about a year or so prior to changing my makeup. So let's go with this one because it is an oldie. I did test it, it's not off yet, but it probably should be in the bin. So let's do some. So I would do that. And then I would get like a stick brush like this where it's nice and small and blend in. Okay, so I never used bronzer and I would never contour. I would never contour my face either. So it would literally be blush. So that is all I would do. Now I remember my blush from back in the day. I swear I had the same blush for like 7 years or something before I finally finished it. It was horrifying now looking back at it. So now that I've done that, I would then brush out my brows. Now I never used brow products. But I would use something like this. Now this is those cheap little brushes. I would use one of these and I would just try and comb out a tiny bit of the foundation. Okay, so that is my face done. So then for shadow, I don't have my old shadows that I used to use. They did get binned when I got new ones. Yeah, I'm gonna use this palette here, the BYS, because my iconic eye look would always be blue shadow. So I'm gonna jump into a Buzz. So I didn't know what inner corner highlighting was. I didn't know what the crease color was. I didn't know how to give myself a smoky eye, nothing like that. So I literally just used blue eyeshadow and blue eyeshadow, and that's it. So this is what I would do. So I'm also doing this in the same way I would do it back then. So I always did my eyes last. Now if I'm using colour, I tend to do my eyes first, just so then I don't have any fallout. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of fallout already. So now I know that's not good. Back then I would just have blue under eyes. So the colour that I used the most was the blue shadow. I went through tons of blue shadow, but I would always be matchy-matchy. You ask anyone, when I wore makeup, this is really patchy. That's okay. When I wore makeup, I matched whatever I was wearing. So if I was wearing a green shirt, I would wear green. If I was wearing a blue shirt, I would do blue. If I was wearing a pink shirt, I would do pink. It's true. So then after that, for eyeliner, I did use eyeliner a little bit. I'm just going to grab this Sephora black one. I never used eyeliner on my top lashes, but I always would put it on my bottom. So my waterline, I'll just do it there, just like that. Okay, and then I would grab some mascara, and I would use just mascara. Now I used to use the Napoleon, I think it's Madame Curl or something. I used that mascara for probably 10 years. Not the same mascara, like bottle, it was the same brand, same name, but multiple tubes of it. I think I probably went through about 30 or 40 tubes of that stuff. So I'm just going to grab this Great Lash Big Blackest Black Maybelline one, and just use this because I find this is probably the most comparable, because I didn't know anything about mascara back then. And I would always just do one coat, so just like that. Okay, so just like that, mascara on, and I never used highlighter. I didn't know what highlighter was until about a year ago. And then I would just normally grab a clear gloss, or sometimes I would use a Napoleon or a MAC lipstick if I was like fancy, but for my everyday look I would just use like a clear gloss or a lip balm. So I'm just going to use this clear gloss, Oh My Gloss by Rimmel. Okay, so just like that. And yes, I left the foundation on my lips. So yeah, this is the completed look. It's not completely terrible, but it's not pretty by any means. So I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing how I used to do my makeup back in the day. If you liked this, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below, and don't forget to subscribe and change notifications to all so you don't miss any of my future videos. And as always, thanks for watching guys. Bye!